Hello my fellow boxing enthusiasts. Usyk presents Oleksandr Usyk maxed out boxing. He has nothing left to prove. Scratch that comment. He only needs to take out Daniel Dubois one last time, not only to shut him up about some robbery claims,
I want my revenge for the robbery in last time,
but to punish him for storming the ring in such an awkward way and stealing his moment. And even though we clarified in my last video that it's not Daniel Dubois' fault because he was told by Frank Warren to do so, he still to this day has a mind of his own and can decide for himself whether to do something disrespectful or not. Wait, scratch that comment again. A normal human being with an average IQ can decide for himself. And we all know Daniel, to say the least, is not burdened with an abundance of intellect.
How does it feel to be heavyweight champion of the world?
It's great,
Jesus Christ, I met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all.
So, as I've said, I think Usyk has done it all and has nothing left to prove, and in my opinion, he should retire. If he keeps going on fighting well into his 40s, he will eventually receive a loss against poorer opposition due to his age. We've seen that many times throughout boxing history, and I believe that's the worst thing a great boxer can do. Go on way past his prime. A great fighter ruins everything he has built by doing so. I mean, look at one of the best of all time, not only in his weight, but pound for pound, Roy Jones Jr. Nowadays, people don't consider him being one of the all-time greats. I mean, ask today's generation who Roy Jones Jr. is, and most definitely...
Most definitely. And I've been said, and I'll say it over and over again.
Many will say a rapper. The intelligence of today's generation truly can't be touched.
I'm an island boy.
Say hello to my little friend.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke.
Come here, honey. Hey, loosen up, will you? You're a lot of woman, you know that? Hey, you want to make $14 the hard way?
And that's because Roy Jones Jr. fought way past his prime and lost against poor opposition multiple times in his final years of competing. Back to the subject, Oleksandr Usyk clearly stated that he still, to this day, has more to prove.
What more do you have to do? What more do you want to do?
I can more.
And so the question arises, who can give Oleksandr Usyk the best run for his money and potentially beat the great Usyk? Let's quickly mention what in my opinion a boxer should fight like in order to beat Oleksandr Usyk. He needs courage, he has to have power, especially to the body, and good boxing fundamentals. And he has to force Usyk on the back foot. We saw in the Anthony Joshua fights that when AJ forced Usyk on the back foot, it seemed to make Usyk very uncomfortable and open for shots. And you could tell he received a lot of shots. By the way he looked post-fight.
I'm very feel.
Same as Dubois. He walked forward and had good success in dealing some damage to Usyk. Only problem is Dubois has gained a reputation for being a quitter, and that's because in my opinion he lacks the courage that's necessary, just like Tyson Fury. Everybody says Usyk doesn't have one-punch knockout power, and even though that may be true, it's obvious his shots must hurt his opponents, and they clearly are afraid of getting hit. Otherwise explain why Dubois quit after being hit with a final jab, and Fury started clinching more than ever before in his second fight against Oleksandr Usyk. Remember, it's the heavyweight division, and one punch can always land out of nowhere and knock someone out. I just can't see that happening at the moment to Usyk because he has such a great eye and ring IQ, he calculates his opponent's next move.
Lots of variation, there's that left hand again.
He's like a chess master, always moves ahead of you, but Usyk's timing and speed will only get less the closer he gets to 40 years old. It's basic human anatomy that the body doesn't have the same reflexes when one gets up there in age. But as I've said, for now, I think Usyk is at his peak. Now, how long will that peak last, you may ask? I hope we never have to find out. As for who would have the best chances of defeating Usyk, I think it's fair to say we can all scratch AJ and Fury off that list. Dubois, in my opinion, actually has better chances of defeating Usyk than AJ or Fury. He has a very unconventional style of fighting and he comes forward and he has a lot of power. The only thing, as I've said, he ain't the brightest bloke on the block. I mean, you can tell when you look at him. The hamster in the wheel is there, but the hamster is dead. That wheel ain't moving an inch. And if you're fighting against, in my opinion, the smartest boxer of all time, and you just plain and simple are not very intelligent, well then your chances of winning are simply diminished. The guy whom I believe has the biggest chance to defeating Usyk is the huge Martin Bakole. This may come as a surprise to many of you. Why does he, in my opinion, pose the biggest threat to Usyk? Number one, he's in the beginning of his 30s. He's heavier than Tyson Fury and actually knows how to use his immense body mass in a boxing ring. He's old school in his defense and rarely takes a step backwards. He reminds me of a modern day George Foreman. His punches look slow, but man, he has so much power and accuracy. He has good boxing fundamentals, a lot of courage, and great power. The three things to, in my opinion, pose the biggest threat to Oleksandr Usyk. Look at the Chisora fight. It takes a true warrior who doesn't give a damn about getting hit often against Usyk and keeps coming forward. And we could all see that Usyk had some trouble in that fight. Now, a guy who about 4 years ago could have potentially beaten Oleksandr Usyk was Andy Ruiz. Right after he defeated AJ in their first fight, he was ready. Ruiz was a Mexican warrior back then who was not afraid of getting hit. He walked forward and had extreme speed and explosiveness for his large frame and body weight. I would have loved to see that fight happen when Ruiz was in his prime. Sadly, we all know what happened.
Who wants to see the third fight?
The fate that killed so many boxers' careers, being dirt poor your entire life and becoming filthy rich within one single night. Let me know in the comment section below who you believe has the biggest chance of defeating Oleksandr Usyk. Thanks for watching this video, brother. Please leave a like at the bottom, really helps my channel out. Boxing is the greatest sport ever. Boxing unites us all, and united we stand. I will catch you on the counterpunch, fellow boxing enthusiasts.
Have a good day, have a good week, have a good month. Okay? Bye bye, I go home.
So say good night to the bad guy. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again.